Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Justin at Saltstrong. I want to talk to you about a new product we added into our shop page. It is the Fitzgerald Fishing Aqua Dream series. Luke and I test out a lot of different products to make sure that what we add into the store is exactly what inshore anglers need to be more successful. And this rod series, this Aqua Dream series in particular by Fitzgerald, has a very specific purpose. For those of you that aren't familiar with Fitzgerald rods, they actually make a myriad of freshwater products and are very popular in that realm. But the Aqua Dream series, which is inspired by Captain Mike Hakala with Aqua Dream spoons, is actually a great saltwater addition, but we think it has a very specific purpose. And the reason is because these Aqua Dream series have a moderate fast tip to them, a moderate fast action. Now, for most applications in inshore fishing, a fast action rod is desirable. It's great for topwaters, it's great for weedless soft plastics and paddle tails, but when it comes to finesse fishing, throwing little 3-inch soft plastics and smaller, very lightweight jig heads, exposed hooks, and even suspending hard baits like a Miradine or Rapala, skitterwalk, and subwalks, for example, these type of rods shine. So what I want to show you guys here, and kind of the difference and the benefits of a moderate fast action rod, is on a traditional fast action rod, only the last eighth of the rod is really going to bend, and then the rest of the rod is going to kind of stiffen out here. There's benefits to using that. When you're using a weedless soft plastic, the transfer of power is going to be much faster. When you go to cast, it's going to be a much crisper cast. With a moderate fast action rod, what you'll notice, if I grab the tip here, the bend comes down much further here into the rod, and that does a number of different things. Number one, by having a softer rod, you can present these lighter, smaller soft plastics more effectively. When you're going to work the lure with a fast action rod, there is a possibility that little light twitches could pull that lure out of the strike zone when you want it to stay there. These softer rods, you can get a little more action out of them, and it'll keep that lure in place a little bit better because it's a slower responding rod. It's going to help that lure kind of dance there in the grass or in the sand in front of fish. It's a great rod for sight fishing applications and for staying in the strike zone. So overall thoughts on the Fitzgerald Aqua Dream series rods, I've been a fan of it. I've recently taken this out and have done pretty well on some nice sized redfish, throwing little soft plastics on exposed jig heads like we talked about. I think it's a great option for those that are trying to downscale their tackle and get those little minute movements out of their plastics when they're trying to sight fish for redfish, trout, snook, and other inshore game fish. One thing you're going to notice is that on these rods, Fitzgerald Fishing does incorporate microwave guide systems. And there's a lot of misconceptions about microwave guides. Do they cast further? Do they cast more accurately than other guides? And there's still a lot more testing that we need to do on this series, but so far, compared to other traditional guides on the market, it's par for the course. It's still great performance. We haven't noticed it to be any better or any worse than what's already out there. Another advantage for those guys out there that do fish live bait, having these softer rods here will help make sure that when you go to cast that light pilchard or a little greenie or a little pinfish, that kind of softness of the rod will help make sure you don't throw that bait off the hook. And at the same time, when you do hook into a nice fish, the softness of the rod's kind of like a shock absorber, to where if a fish were to run towards the boat or the kayak, and if you're a clumsy fisherman, which I have known to be sometimes, and that fish runs underneath the boat or too close, and that bend goes down a little further than normal, moderate fast action rods offer a little bit better forgiveness, so there is less likely of a chance to high stick this type of rod. So while these rods do present little soft plastics and finesse application lures very well, one of the cons of this particular series, because it is a moderate fast rod and that tip is a lot softer, it's going to have a harder time with hook sets on weedless soft plastics. So compared to a fast action rod where that transfer of power is much faster into the butt here of the rod, it's going to take a lot longer for that power to transfer down, and when you go to get a hook set, it's going to take a lot more power to embed that hook through the plastic and into the fish's mouth. It's not to say that it's not possible, it's just to say that for those that are used to a traditional fast action rod, this might be a bit of an adjustment, and that's why we think these are better suited for exposed hooks, little jig heads, lightweight plastics, and most finesse applications. So when it comes to power on these rods are listed as a medium power, but as we've said before, power and action, there's really no standardization in the industry nowadays. This does seem to represent more of a moderate fast action, but in terms of power, it might feel lacking compared to other medium powered rods. That doesn't mean it's not strong, it just means that if you were to fish a dock or gnarly structure, for example, this rod might feel a little undergunned for that particular application. We would recommend using these type of rods in open water scenarios for redfish, for trout, for some snook that move out onto potholes, where you don't have to worry about the fish running into heavy structure in that short range combat. Rods like TFO medium or other medium heavy models would be better suited for that application. This medium powered rod and this moderate fast tip are better suited for open water scenarios. And if you guys have used these Fitzgerald Aqua Dream rods before, let us know your thoughts. We'd love to hear from everybody. These are a pretty new rod for our store, but we've been really impressed so far. I think they're going to be a great option for finesse applications specifically. We'd love to hear from you guys. Leave a comment down below. Otherwise, we'll see you on the water soon.
If you're new to Salt Strong, just know we're the best inshore fishing club that teaches you how to catch more redfish, sea trout, snook, and flounder. You save a ton of money on your tackle, and you meet a lot of awesome new fishing friends. So to learn more, head over to saltstrong.com, and we will see you in the Insider family soon.